In a quiet valley surrounded by hills, there lived a boy named Eli. Eli was known for always walking slowly, as if he were listening to something no one else could hear. That was because Eli loved the wind. Every morning before school, he stepped outside and closed his eyes. He listened carefully as the wind passed through the grass, slipped between houses, and whispered through the trees. His mother once asked him, "What are you listening for?" Eli smiled and said, "I think the wind is telling stories." Most people laughed when they heard that, but Eli didn't mind. One afternoon, Eli met an old kite maker who had set up a small stand near the edge of the valley. The man's hands were wrinkled, and his kites were made of paper so thin they glowed in the sunlight. "This one is special," the old man said, handing Eli a small blue kite. "It doesn't fly high, but it listens well." Eli didn't quite understand, but he took the kite home. That evening, he ran up the hill behind his house and released the string. The wind caught the kite gently, lifting it into the sky. For the first time, the wind felt heavy, not strong, not fast, but full. Suddenly, Eli felt something warm in his chest. He realized the wind was carrying more than air. It was carrying laughter from children who once played in the valley. It was carrying quiet goodbyes, unfinished songs, and promises whispered long ago. Night after night, Eli returned to the hill. The kite never flew high, but it always stayed steady, moving softly as if listening. One night the wind grew quiet, too quiet. The valley felt still, as if holding its breath. Eli ran up the hill and released the kite, but it did not rise. The string hung loose in his hands. Eli closed his eyes and spoke, not loudly, but honestly. "If you're tired," he whispered to the wind, "I can carry you for a while." A gentle breeze wrapped around him, warm and light. The kite lifted once more. From that day on, the valley felt alive again. The trees moved softly. The air felt kinder. Years later, Eli grew up and left the valley. But people say that when the wind passes through that place, it still slows down, as if listening, as if remembering the boy who once carried it when it was tired. And sometimes, if you stand very still, you might hear a story riding on the wind.